Hi, I'm John Snyder from Bulldog Security. I'd like to take a moment to thank you for your purchase. Your remote starter was built with pride right here in our Ohio facility. It utilizes state-of-the-art technology and components and is guaranteed forever. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to Steve, who will walk you through your installation procedure. And once again, thank you for your purchase.
Hi, my name is Steve. I'm here to help guide you through the necessary steps to make your installation as easy as possible. We recommend that you carefully read your manual before attempting to install your unit. Being prepared and knowing your vehicle's wiring, and if your vehicle has a factory alarm, is vital to ensure installation goes easy. The following is a description of all components that will be supplied with your remote starter system: an instruction manual, the main control module, the control module harness, the relay harness, the door lock harness, the hood pin switch, a warning sticker, Bulldog window decals, and an installation bonus kit, which includes a utility knife, a roll of electrical tape, wire ties, and a computer-friendly test probe. We understand that there will be questions and information needed to help you complete your installation. Visit our website to acquire your vehicle's wire color chart and other helpful information. If you do not have access to the internet, you may fax your questions. Bulldog's helpful tech department can fax you wire diagrams or answer any of your questions. You may also reach the technical department anytime, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We recommend you accessing the internet or faxing your request for wire diagrams. This will free our technical staff to answer questions not covered in the manual or on the internet. It is required that your installation be done in a well-ventilated area. Before you begin the installation, place the warning sticker under the hood in an area that a service tech will notice it. This will notify anyone working on your vehicle that a remote starter is installed. Your remote starter is designed to be used with automatic transmission, fuel-injected engines only. We at Bulldog Security believe in safety first. Be sure you never remote start your vehicle indoors or with the keys in the ignition. And be sure you never start your vehicle unless your transmission is in park. Do not use mechanical wire connectors such as crimp or snap-together caps. Do not disconnect the battery if your vehicle has an anti-theft coated radio or is equipped with an airbag. Doing so may cause a warning light to be displayed and cause a trip to the dealer to be corrected. Do not leave the interior lights or exterior lights on for an extended period of time, as it may cause battery drain. It is recommended that the dome light fuse be removed before you start the installation. Do not mount the control module before all connections are made and tested. All General Motors rear-wheel drive vehicles and Dodge Dakotas built prior to 1996 do not have an electrical neutral safety switch. Refer to your manual for proper procedures to create this safety switch. When testing the wires in your vehicle, use the test probe included with the installation bonus pack. The test probe will be connected to both a 12-volt positive and a chassis ground connection. The test light will work on both negative and positive sources. It will have two LEDs, a red and a green. Both of the LEDs will be illuminated if it is properly connected to a 12-volt positive and a good chassis ground. With both LEDs illuminated, probe either a negative or a positive source. If a positive source is probed, the green LED will turn off and the red LED will brighten, acknowledging a positive source was probed. If a negative source is probed, the red LED will turn off and the green LED will brighten, acknowledging a negative source was probed. Refer to your installation manual for further operation of the test probe. There are two types of connections that will be made when connecting wires from your remote starter to the wires in your vehicle: tapping into a wire and end-to-end connections. When tapping into the wire, you will not have to cut it in two, and the end-to-end connection will be when the wiring in your vehicle has to be cut in two. When making a connection to a wire in your vehicle without having to cut it in two, strip back 2 inches of insulation on the wire from the remote starter using the supplied utility knife. Then strip back 1 inch of insulation on the wire you need to connect to in your vehicle by making 2 circular slices around the wire casing 1 inch apart. Next, slice the wire casing between the 2 circular slices. Peel away the casing, exposing the 1 inch of bare wire. Be sure the wire does not touch any metal or other exposed wiring in the vehicle. At this time, using the test probe, separate the 1 inch of exposed wire, making a loop. Insert the wire that you previously stripped through the center of the loop that you formed in the vehicle's wiring. Wrap the wire you inserted through the loop around one side of the loop, then around the other side, and finally around itself. Put the wire you're connecting to your vehicle beside the wire you have connected in the vehicle. Using the supplied electrical tape, wrap the connections, making sure no bare wire is exposed. Take one of the supplied wire ties and clamp the two wires that you have just connected together, ensuring they cannot accidentally pull apart. When making end-to-end connections, take the two wires that you are connecting, strip back 1 inch of insulation on both of the wires. Separate the strands of wires on each wire, making two sections. Twist one section of each wire together, and then the second section together. Lay the twisted wires alongside the casing of the wire. Using electrical tape, wrap the connection, making sure no bare wire was exposed. Use two wire ties to ensure the wires are securely fastened together. Before you are able to locate and make your connections to the wires in your vehicle, the under dash panel will need to be removed. A screwdriver or socket set may be required to remove this panel. This will expose the wires in the steering column that you will be connecting to. You may need to cut the casing, protecting the harness to access the wires needed. The first wires that you will locate will be the constant 12-volt positive wires located in your vehicle. The wire you are looking for will be a heavy gauge wire located in your vehicle's main ignition harness. This harness is located in the steering column coming from the ignition switch. Some vehicles have only one 12-volt constant wire. While the ignition switch is in the off position, probe the wires with your included wire probe until you locate all the wires that test 12-volt positive while the ignition is in every position. Accessory, lock, off, run, and crank. As a reminder, your test probe will show red when a positive source is probed, and be sure you use the wire chart to reference the correct wire colors. Once the 12-volt positive wires are found in your vehicle, proceed making the connections using the techniques described earlier in this video. There are two 12-volt positive wires that you will need to connect. The wires that you need are the two heavy gauge red wires. The first step on connecting these wires is to strip back 2 inches of a casing from the end of each wire. If you have found only one 12-volt positive wire in your vehicle, twist both of the wires you have just stripped and insert it through the center of the loop created in the vehicle. Twist the red wires that you are connecting to your vehicle's wire around one side of the loop, then around the other side. Finally, twist it again around the base of itself. Once the wires are twisted and securely attached to your vehicle's wiring, wrap the connection with the supplied electrical tape. Be sure that the entire wire is covered and no bare wire is exposed. Finally, to secure the connection, place a supplied wire tie over the two wires holding them in place. If your vehicle has two 12-volt constant wires, connect one red wire to each of the 12-volt connections you have found. In this step, you will be locating your starter crank wire. This wire will be located in the same harness coming from the ignition switch as the last connection of the 12-volt positive wires. Nissans and Infinitis will have two crank wires. Both must be connected. Be sure to use your wire chart to reference the correct wire colors. Using your test probe, locate the wires that show 12-volt positive or red on your test light while the ignition is in the crank position only. This wire will not show 12 volts while the ignition is in any other position other than while the starter is cranking. At this time, strip back the wire that you have located. Proceed to make your connections as shown earlier. You will be connecting the heavy gauge yellow with black stripe wire from the relay harness. Most vehicles will have only one accessory wire. However, some Fords, newer GMs, and Chryslers 1994 and up will have two or more accessory wires. If your vehicle has more than one accessory wire, you will have to connect the white with black stripe wire from the relay harness to each of the accessory wires located in your vehicle's main ignition harness. Be sure to use your wire chart to reference the correct colors. To locate the proper wire, probe the heavy gauge wire that shows 12 volts positive or red on the test probe while the vehicle's ignition is in the run position. This wire will not show 12 volts while the key is in any other position. If you will notice, the blower motor will quit running as the vehicle's ignition is in the crank position. Connect the heavy gauge white with black stripe wire from the relay harness to the accessory wire in the vehicle as shown in previous steps of this video. The ignition wires are also located in the main ignition harness. As a rule of thumb, most vehicles 1991 and older will have only one ignition wire. Most vehicles 1992 and newer will have 2 and sometimes 3 ignition wires. Most imported vehicles will have only one. Be sure to use your wire chart to reference the correct wire colors. Probe the wires within the ignition harness that will read 12 volt positive or red on your test probe while the ignition is in the run and crank positions only. This wire will not show 12 volt in any other positions. If your vehicle has only one ignition wire, simply connect the white wire from your relay harness to the wire in your vehicle identified as the ignition wire as demonstrated earlier in this video. If your vehicle has 2 ignition wires, connect the white wire from your relay harness to one of the ignition wires in your vehicle and the white wire with a red stripe to the second ignition wire. If your vehicle has 3 ignition wires, connect the white wire of your relay harness with 2 of the ignition wires in your vehicle, then connect the last ignition wire to the white with red stripe wire on your relay harness. Locate an easy-to-get-to bolt or screw that is connected to metal under the dash of your vehicle. Loosen the bolt and attach the black wire from your main wire harness to this bolt. The wire will have a Y-clip to make the connection easier. Be sure the bolt is fastened securely. Be sure you are connecting the ground to a clean, unpainted surface. A good ground is vital for your system to operate correctly. Your Bulldog remote starter is equipped with a positive trigger parking light output. Dodge Caravans 1996 and newer, Ford Windstars 1998 and newer, and most vehicles with a light switch on the steering column will be a negative trigger. Refer to your wire color chart to locate the proper wire and type of parking light system your vehicle has. To locate this wire, probe the wires coming from your headlight switch while the parking lights are in the on position. When you find a wire that reads 12 volt or red on the test probe, or you find a wire that reads negative or green on the test probe, turn the parking lights off to see if the signal disappears. When you turn the parking lights back on, the signal should reappear. Also, check to be sure the wire remains negative or positive depending on your vehicle's system while the headlights are in the on position. If your vehicle has a positive trigger system, connect the brown wire from the main control harness to the wire you have located in the vehicle. Make the connection as shown earlier in this video. If your vehicle has a negative parking light system, refer to your manual for information on connecting your parking lights. You will locate the brake input on the switch above the brake pedal. This wire will show 12 volts, red, on the test light when the brake is pressed. Use your wire chart to reference the correct wire colors. Be sure you let up on the brake and press it again to be sure you have the correct wire. As a note, if your vehicle is equipped with cruise control, you will have 2 brake switches. The top switch in most cases is the correct one. Once you have located the wires, connect the blue with black stripe wire from the main control harness to this wire. Make the connection and secure the wire like shown earlier in this video. In most cases, the decision to go with tackless start mode will save time during the installation. If you find your vehicle is hard to start, you may want to consider hooking up tack start. If you elect to use tackless start, you do not need to make any connections. Refer to your manual for proper installation of tack start mode. Connecting the hood pin switch will keep the engine from starting or shut the engine off when the hood is opened. To install the hood pin switch, you will need a drill and a 5/16 inch drill bit. Find a good chassis ground location to install the hood pin switch, but try not to install it in a rain gutter. When you find a good location, drill a hole. Be sure you are not drilling into anything underneath the location you are making the hole. Once the hole is drilled, insert the pin switch in the hole and screw it into place. You will need to adjust the height of the actual plastic part of the pin switch by trimming a little of the plastic shaft at a time. When the desired length is completed, you must route the black with blue stripe wire from the 11-pin wire harness through the firewall into the pin switch. Find an existing grommet or passage through the firewall. If you need to drill a hole, be sure not to drill into anything on the back side of the firewall. The wire is equipped with a male bullet connector that will plug into the bottom of the hood pin. Be sure that you attach the wire in the engine compartment away from moving and hot parts. At this time, the main control harness and the relay harness wires should be connected. Once all the connections are made, you should press and release the start button on your remote transmitter. If the system is installed correctly, the accessories should turn on and the ignition should crank and then start. If your vehicle does not crank, or your vehicle cranks but does not start, recheck all of your connections. Also, this could be a sign that your vehicle is equipped with an anti-theft system. If your vehicle starts and runs, but your horn honks and the parking lights flash, this will indicate your vehicle having a factory security system. Most vehicles with factory remote keyless entry systems are equipped with a factory alarm. This alarm will not cause your vehicle not to start, but only sound the horn and flash the parking lights when activated. If your vehicle sounds the factory alarm when your remote started, you will have to connect this feature. Refer to your manual for proper installation. There are generally 4 types of factory anti-theft systems on the market: GM VATS, or General Motors Vehicle Anti-Theft System, Passlock 1, Passlock 2, and Transponder. GM VATS will have a pill and ignition key. This system will be found on some 95 and later model General Motor vehicles. This key holds a resistance that is recognized by the vehicle. If the resistance does not match, the vehicle will fail to start. Passlock 1 works by the resistance sent from the tumbler on the ignition switch after the vehicle starts. This system will be found on 1995 through 1999 Pontiac Sunfires and Grand Ams, 1995 through 1997 Olds Achievas, and 1995 through 2000 Chevy Cavaliers. Passlock 2 works the same way as Passlock 1, but the resistance is read during the cranking of the vehicle. This system will be found in all 1998 and later GM trucks and vans, all Chevy Impalas, and Malibus. The transponder system will have a special code within the key. The vehicle will not start without the key in the ignition. You will find this system in some Fords 1996 or later, some imports 98 or later, and 1998 or newer Chryslers with a gray ignition key. If your vehicle has one of the above anti-theft systems, you will need to add an additional module to bypass the system so your vehicle will be able to start and run. Bulldog Security has the Model 781 and 791 module available at most retailers, or you can order it by contacting direct wholesale on the internet or by phone. The Bulldog Model 781 or 791 interface module lets you bypass almost any type of factory anti-theft system on the market today without permanently disabling the system. The bypass module has no effect on the passkey, passlock, or transponder system when the remote starter is not in use. Once you are able to get your vehicle to start and run, it is time to test the rest of the install. While the vehicle is running, be sure that the air conditioner and the heater work. If the blower motor is not throwing air, you will need to check your connection of the accessory wire. There may be more than one, or you have the incorrect wire connected. At this time, press the brake. The vehicle should stop running. If the vehicle does not stop running, you should check the brake connection. Again, press the start button. While the vehicle is running, release the hood. This should also cause the vehicle to stop running. If your vehicle has power door locks, you may elect to install the remote keyless entry. Most vehicles' power door lock systems will be one of the three basic types. We recommend that you refer to your vehicle's wire chart to reference the wire colors and type of locking system your vehicle has. In most cases, you will find the proper wires located within the driver's side kick panel or under the driver's side of the dash. The following steps should be followed while testing for a Type A positive door lock system. Probe both of the wires going to the door lock switch. If one of the wires going to the switch shows 12 volt positive or red on the test light when the lock button is pressed, and the second wire shows 12 volts positive or red on the test light when the unlock button is pressed, you will have a Type A door lock system. Refer to your manual for proper installation of your Type A locking system. Next, you should test for a Type B or negative door lock system. The same two wires will be tested. If the wire shows negative or green on the test probe when the lock button is pressed, and the second wire shows negative or green when the unlock button is pressed, you will have a Type B door lock system. Refer to your manual for proper installation of your Type B locking system. The third and final test is for Type C or reverse polarity door locks. This system will be found on full-size pickups, SUVs, and Fords built prior to 1994. Using your test probe, test the wires going to the door lock switch. The wire will alternate polarity when the door locks are activated. The lock wire will show negative or green on your test probe and change to positive or red on your test probe when the lock button is pressed. And the unlock wire will show positive or red on your test probe until the unlock button is pressed. Then it will show negative or green on your test probe. If this is the case, your vehicle has a Type C reverse polarity door lock system. Refer to your manual for proper installation of your Type C system. Model 775 relay and 5-wire harness. This is a universal module most commonly used when connecting your horn, negative parking lights, and negative trunk release systems. If you are installing the RS1300E, you can also elect to connect alarm features and modules to your system, such as an add-on radar intrusion sensor, dual-stage shock sensor, starter immobilizer, or siren. Replacement or additional remote transmitters can also be purchased for your system. Contact your dealer or direct wholesale for any additional questions or to place an order. Once all of the connections are tested and all the options you wish to install are complete, the main control module should be mounted under the dash and out of the way of all moving parts, the accelerator, and the brake pedal. Be sure that all the unused wires are taped off and secured. There are two types of antennas supplied with the Bulldog remote starters: the standard range and the extended range. If the model that you have purchased is an extended range model, your unit will be supplied with a coaxial antenna. This antenna is designed to be plugged into the main control module and ran up the door pillar into the center of the windshield. The extended range antenna will give you an average of 800 feet of range. If your windshield has a tinted top, you must install the antenna below the tint. Remove the plastic liner on the door pillar and place the coax up and across the roof liner until it is behind the rearview mirror. Using the supplied antenna clips, remove the tape and place them on the windshield. The plastic housing of the coax antenna will be attached in the clips. If you are using the coax antenna, you will not need to use the yellow antenna on the main harness. It is recommended that you twist and tape the wire to keep it out of the way. If you purchased a non-extended range unit, the yellow antenna on the main harness will be used. After the control module is mounted, the antenna should be mounted and attached somewhere away from the wiring and metal. The yellow antenna should be kept as straight as possible for the best range. Now it is time to guide you through the operations of your new remote starter system. To start your vehicle with your remote transmitter, press and release button number 1. The parking lights will flash once, acknowledging that the car received the signal. The car then will start and the parking lights will turn on and remain on as long as the vehicle is running. To shut the engine off manually, press button number 4 on your remote transmitter or press the brake pedal. If the hood is opened while the vehicle is remotely started, the engine will shut off. If the engine happens to fail in the first attempt of starting, the unit will attempt to start the vehicle 2 more times. If you have elected to hook up the tack start mode, the vehicle starter will crank until it starts. Once your vehicle is running, the parking lights will turn on in approximately 10 seconds. Refer to your instruction manual for operations or other features included with your remote starter system. There are many features you are able to program for your remote starter. You must first enter programming mode. To enter programming mode, make sure your vehicle is not running and the brake is pressed. The brake has to remain pressed as long as you want to remain in programming mode. The unit will exit the programming mode simply by releasing the brake. The starter will flash the parking lights 3 times to acknowledge the exiting of programming mode. Once in programming mode, you can program your remote starter for many features such as cold start, door lock pulse, tack start mode, runtime, and many other features. Refer to your manual for more information on programming your system. We at Bulldog Security would like to take this time to once again thank you. We hope your installation is enjoyable and that the comfort that your new Bulldog Security remote starter gives you can be enjoyed for years to come. Remember, our helpful technical staff is available to answer your questions anytime, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or on Saturdays from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Please try to visit our website for helpful information and to obtain your helpful color charts for your vehicles. Once again, thank you.